This is Ken with VOD TV at the Connections Conference. We're with Stuart Rosove of Irdeto. Recently with Bay TSP. Why don't you tell us, though, a little bit about how Irdeto is fitting into this connected home space?
Sure. Irdeto is taking a look at this phenomenon of over-the-top distribution, as is everybody. The proliferation of devices, operators clamoring to get premium content in order to retain customers, retain subscribers, to grow their business and so forth. And with this proliferation, Irdeto really recognizes that security is becoming a more important part of the operator system, implementation, and ongoing operation of that environment.
Now, you talked a little bit about piracy, looking at it as a continuum. Why don't you explain what you mean by that?
So Irdeto, remind you that it has a 40-year history in conditional access, so it's always been focused around paid media. And as we're getting into this new world of IP distribution, we take a step back and take a look at consumer behavior from a slightly different angle, and that is, what is piracy? And to us, piracy is not a single behavior. So if you can visualize kind of this continuum on the far left, where you have the most egregious offenders, those that want to steal the content and profit from the content without putting any money in your pocket. As you move further down that continuum, you get a curious class of individuals that range from casual pirates. Think of the college kid at a dorm and feeling very anonymous and taking one or two pieces of content, through to what we call the confused consumer. That consumer could be you or I or anybody at this conference that goes to a site like a CyberLocker or a streaming site and sees these are ad-supported sites and feel that the content that they're bringing from these sites is legal, is legitimate. And then you get finally to the frustrated consumer. This is a consumer that wants to consume that content, would like to consume it through a legal means, but for whatever reason, whether it's geo-locked or simply not licensed to that geography, the content's not available. What do? They go to the peer-to-peer networks, they go to the cyberlockers, and they try and liberate that content so that they can use it themselves.
And so, when you get to that, the frustrated customer, the one who is willing to pay for it and so forth, how much of that also is ease of use and just, making it easy?
I think that's a great point. So with any paid media solution, ease of use is critical. So when it comes to security has to be highly robust, has to meet all the studio requirements for robustness, and yet be completely transparent to the consumer that wants to dig into their pocket. So I think ease of use plays into it in a very significant fashion.
Well, as a technology provider to these either content owners or the service providers, I guess you have that. You have to provide them with the tools so they can set the policies they want, right?
That's correct. So what we have is a portfolio of solutions, and you're absolutely right. We work with content owners and what we call platform operators, traditional pay television operators through to pure over-the-top providers. And our portfolio of solutions includes what we call Active Cloak for Media, which is a security framework that enables the content protection of the digital asset through its life cycle. So from the point that it's captured by the operator in their library through to every form of distribution, modality of distribution, and so forth.
And so it also has to work on the multiple clients as well. So that's probably, you come into that part too, right?
That's a very large part of the work that we're doing currently and into the future, is a heavy investment in making sure that our technology gets onto all of the devices that the consumer really cares about. And by through our roadmap, what we're really trying to provide is an end-to-end security solution for the operator, so that they can focus on running their business and have the assurance that the content protection they have is both studio approved and is resident on all of those devices, be it iOS, be it Android, and so forth.
So from a scaling standpoint, it used to be pretty easy. You had a set-top box, but I was talking to someone today who has 40 PCs in her house or something ungodly like that. But the point is, there is becoming a proliferation of devices. So can it scale? I mean, is the operator going to have to pay, X dollars per, device to get that security on that device, or how is that going to work?
I won't get into full business model or economics, but yes, we do have an absolutely scalable solution. Home networking is critical to the future, and you're absolutely correct. How many devices? 40. I'm not so sure who's that environment, but we're seeing everything from 12 to 15, 20 devices, and so it becomes really important, and not only within home networking, but also the download and go, sync and go, and things like that, because it's really hard to define what that household is these days. I myself have 4 kids, two of which are off in college. Are they part of our home domain? Are they not? Certainly when they come home, they plug into our media server and we'll grab whatever content's available and take them back with them. So we take a look at all the different use case scenarios to make sure that our technology is scalable and addresses those use case scenarios.
Yeah, and there are some interesting use case scenarios when families break up and so forth, or like you say, when kids go away, who gets the digital content, right?
Absolutely. This are the challenges that industry is looking at seriously. Look at UltraViolet and how they're trying to define what a home domain is. But absolutely correct. And there's, I wish that it was a very simple life that we could say every household had 5 devices and so many kids and, had so many rules. But this just adds layers and layers of complexity for the digital rights management engine and how to serve that content, and then how we protect that content is in that very dynamic environment.
Well, and where are you seeing it with UltraViolet, since you brought it up? Are consumers starting to understand what that means? Are you starting to see more momentum built for that, or?
So we've all read reports about we'll call it the soft launch of UltraViolet. I think UltraViolet is an incredibly important experiment in this overall ecosystem. When you take a look at that consortia alone, it has all of the right players with all of the right technology, and to me, in most cases, it's very much now down to kind of the business model, but also that ease of use comes into play. From our perspective here, again, that's just another environment and ecosystem for us to protect, and so we do support UltraViolet.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we'll still probably be talking about a lot of these questions next year. So, Stuart, I appreciate your time.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.